Imagine for a moment that inside nearly every cell in your body is an extraordinary instruction manual, one containing the information that helps tell that cell what to do, how to function, and how to maintain itself.
That instruction manual is your DNA. And when you begin to realize just how much your cells depend on those instructions, something becomes very clear. Protecting that information matters.
Because throughout your life, your DNA is continually exposed to things that can damage it.
Fortunately, your cells have remarkable systems designed to protect and repair those instructions. But what happens when some of that damage isn't repaired?
And what happens when, little by little, those changes begin to accumulate?
That's where our first hallmark of aging begins.
So DNA damage isn't something that only happens occasionally?
Not at all. Every day, DNA is exposed to stress, from normal metabolism and replication errors to influences from the environment.
But here's the important part. DNA damage itself is normal.
Exactly. Healthy cells are remarkably good at detecting damage and repairing it. So the real question isn't whether DNA becomes damaged. It's how well your cells can keep up with the repair. And to understand that we need to meet the repair crew. Your cells are actually built for this. When DNA damage occurs, specialized systems detect the problem, respond, and begin the repair process.
So healthy aging isn't about somehow avoiding every source of cellular stress.
Exactly. It's about maintaining the ability to respond, to repair, recover, and preserve healthy function. Because damage will happen. The real challenge begins when the repair crew can no longer keep up.
So even with an incredible repair system, some damage can still slip through.
Exactly. And over years and decades, some of those unresolved changes can begin to accumulate, making it harder to maintain the stability of our genetic information.
And that's when DNA damage becomes something more?
Scientists call it genomic instability, the first hallmark of aging. And once the integrity of the instructions begins to change, the effects can reach far beyond the DNA itself.
So when DNA changes, the effects don't necessarily stay confined to the DNA.
Exactly. DNA contains the instructions your cells use to make proteins, regulate activity, respond to stress, repair themselves, and maintain healthy function.
So a change in the blueprint can influence what happens throughout the cell.
Right. And that's why genomic instability matters. Because once one part of this biological network begins to change, it can influence other systems as well. And that's where the story of aging gets much bigger.
So genomic instability isn't happening in isolation. It can actually influence other parts of the aging process.
Correct. And this is one of the most important ideas to understand about aging. These 9 hallmarks don't operate independently. They're connected, and a change in one can ripple through the entire biological network.
So instead of 9 separate problems,
think of them as one interconnected story. And some of those connections can work in both directions.
So, DNA damage can influence the rest of the cell, but those other systems can influence DNA too.
Yes, cellular energy, inflammation, protein maintenance, communication, and other processes all help shape the environment in which DNA must function and repair itself.
So aging isn't the result of one system simply breaking down.
Right. It's the interaction between these systems that matters. Genomic instability is one important hallmark, but it's only one part of a much larger biological story.
But what if the DNA sequence itself is still intact?
That's where another layer becomes important. Your cells don't just need the right genetic instructions. They need to know which instructions to use and when.
So the same DNA can actually be read differently?
Exactly. Some genes can become more active, while others become quieter, and those patterns can change as we age. So what determines how those instructions are read? Protecting our DNA is fundamental to healthy cellular function. But there's another part of this story that's just as important.
Because having the right genetic instructions doesn't help if our cells begin reading those instructions differently.
And that's where our second hallmark of aging begins. Epigenetic alterations, when the instructions begin to change. And that's the next chapter in our story.
If you're enjoying this series, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter.
And if you'd like to learn more about supporting cellular health, click the link below for our free guide or call us at 1-888-288-1892. We'll see you in episode 2.